the tobacco companies, which the movie
Sure.
The Insider was based on, could change how the entire country views the cigarette companies. And so who controls that algorithm and to what end? I think a lot of the political division we're seeing in our country today is because of social media and mainstream media. Mainstream media learned early on if you pick a side, you lose half the audience, but the audience you gain can become so rabid that it's worth just picking half the audience to
Yeah.
get 80% of it. See MSNBC, Fox, NPR, or any of the classic GOP, you know, um, radio hosts. Rush Limbaugh
I
comes
was
to
thinking
mind.
Rush. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you take it another step, which is we're just going to tickle your outrage. Now you add that to young people's brains, you could make them think anything. And in fact, adults could be swayed. Every time I watch a documentary, I just have like a massive warning signal up where I'm like, this director is manipulating me to some end. They're either trying to make this incredibly entertaining, emotionally provocative, whatever it happens to be. And so I think algorithms should be removable, swappable, and transparent.
There should be a required time series feed that you can opt into as to avoid the algorithm feeding you things. But I think you make a great point on documentaries and their ability to influence, because one thing that I've also seen that worries me in this broader vein is things that look like documentaries that aren't.
Yes.
My spouse is a huge fan of things on Netflix that explain a topic, and I had to be like, okay, but this was all approved by Billie Eilish's team. This is not a third party group going in there to try to understand her. This is her presenting herself to you using
Yes.
clips and voiceover and things that make it look like Ken Burns was somewhere in the room, but it's not a documentary. It's a hagiography, right? Which is
Right.
different. So that's another thing that scares me. But yes, in the case of TikTok, though, I think that algorithmic transparency would be huge. So I'm hoping that, Oracle, Andreessen, and Silver Lake step up to the plate and build something that we can take a look at. And then I hope
Yeah.
YouTube and X and Reddit and everyone else kind of follows suit. Transparency here will be huge.
X has already done that. They released their algorithm and
Did that keep
they
getting updated? That's cool.
yeah, they released it just 10 days ago, I think. And when Elon released it and he open sourced it, he said, I'm doing this because I think our algorithm kind of sucks and I want it to get better. And, I've had conversations with him about, publicly, and he's talked about it. I mean, I've had these conversations literally on X of would be really great to BYOA, bring your
Hmm.
own algorithm. And
Yeah.
then when you then have an algorithm store. So this is what I pitched the social media companies on is create an algorithm store where I can buy, for $5 or a
Uh-huh.
dollar, just like I can buy an app or a ringtone, an algorithm.
Yeah.
And I might want an algorithm that is world positive, that is fact checked. I might want one that's chaotic. I might want one that's the trending news. I might want one that's the most engaged news that doesn't have a lot of views. So lots of comments, lots of back and forth, but not a lot of views, right? Those would be like emerging conversations, all kinds of
Sure.
interesting things you could do.
Yeah.
But I think these things are evil as constructed today. I'll put them in the category of evil because I think the people making them and who are deploying them, the Meta Corporation across their different platforms and TikTok, are doing it with absolutely no conscience. I think they're doing it strictly to increase engagement and make money.
Yeah.
And then I do think there's a nefarious thing going on. The Russians, the Chinese, even the US, we've always done psyops on our opponents. I
Influence
think TikTok
campaigns.
is
Yeah.
psyops. I think they are trying to make people in the United States, I think they're trying to destabilize the United States with that algorithm.
Well, we
That's
have a
my
history of.
personal belief.
But no, I think it's just kind of a fact. I mean, Russian bot operations are a known reported thing, and we also know that China's very engaged in that. And to be clear, the U.S. has its hand in several pies as well. I'm not trying to say that we don't have
We
a
drop
viewpoint.
pamphlets on countries, right?